I mentioned the Nissan Leaf last time, and we're going to go for another one. There really was no other choice. We looked at the Tesla Model S, but it was physically too big for us to get on the drive, and it was borderline a bit pricey as well. So we ruled that one out. Not to say that we won't rule it in the future if our circumstances change, but because it is a lovely car. But anyway, we've gone for a Nissan Leaf Tekna. So we've got leather seats, a round view monitor, heat pump, which would be nice in the winter, give us a bit more range. So we've gone for a 2-year PCP deal. A very good deal we got on that. There were some really good offers going towards the back end of April, and we managed to pick one up. £1,000 deposit and £150 a month, which for a Tekna is absolutely fantastic. And we could choose any colour. The only problem was, or problem, not really a problem, but it's a flex Tekna, so it's battery rental. But that £150 a month is including the battery rental, so it's £70 for the car per month and £80 for the battery. Now this isn't a problem because we're not looking to keep the car at the end of the lease, and so it matters not whether it's a flex deal with a battery rental or just a normal car to us anyway. So that's what we've done. The only slight issue, well, it's not an issue, but we have to inform the insurance company that the battery isn't ours, i.e. that the battery is owned by Nissan. Just checking I've got my wallet. I always do this when I'm riding along. I check all my pockets and make sure they're all zipped up. I'm absolutely paranoid about riding along and losing something out of my pocket. I've never done it, but then I always check. I've ordered another radio on the radio front, another Baofeng, and I'm blowed if I can remember the model number, but it's quite a nice looking little radio. I know a lot of people criticise the Baofengs for having changing the form factor every time, and so the batteries are different, and the stands, the charging stands are different, but they're so inexpensive it doesn't really matter, does it? I mean, who goes buying loads of batteries for Fang radios? And I've found in practice that the batteries last for ages in those radios. You can easily get a day with it switched on with a bit of chit chat with no problems at all. So quite why anyone needs a backup battery for a Baofeng, unless you're a real rag chewer. I've no idea why. I must say that this drift's been okay. I had to reload the firmware on it again. There was a couple of little glitches, but this is the original Drift HD, not the Ghost. This is the original HD, which I've had for 2 or 3 years now, and I really like it. It just does the job. I'm not interested in 60 FPS. Technically it's supposed to be smoother, less chance of vibration, because there's no anti-stabilization on these cameras. You're relying on your neck if it's mounted to you, and I don't recommend mounting these to the bike because they just vibrate too much. And you do have to be so careful, right, with these roads. You can go around a corner and then right in the middle there's cyclists riding 2 abreast right in the middle of the road, which is not technically illegal, but can be a bit of a shock. And I'd never get on anyone's case for riding 2 abreast if they want to do it, but you know, car drivers are quite an impatient bunch, and you don't want to mess around. Not an issue on this machine, although you do still get cars trying to overtake, and I generally just let them go. I'm not it's not a racing machine, this, it's a cruiser. So I let this car go. Yeah, I see the grit there on the road. That's just so minging. Others will say, you pussy, you're on an off-road bike. These tyres are more road than off-road. I've made that mistake a number of times riding on wet grass, and it's you're soon sliding around. You're soon reminded that they're really road tyres. But it's not a supermoto. It's not like, you know, you don't want to go guffing around off-road with supermoto tyres, because they really are road tyres. So at least it's not that, you know, they have got some off-road ability, but they're not very good. I've been getting lots of subscribers, which is fantastic. So if you have subscribed to me on YouTube, I really appreciate that. It's fantastic. I've been on YouTube for a long time. Not on this channel. I've had other channels, and I started off my video career on Google Video, which was the service that's now not there anymore. And I had some really good video views on that service. Upwards of sort of 500,000 put on one video in particular for a KMX, electric KMX I did. So the other channel I have is one called Hula Hooper, and there's a shark video on that I did, which has had 315,000 hits so far. So that's great. Penny for every one of them would be alright, wouldn't it? But I'm not monetizing the channel, and no intentions of doing so. I earn pretty good money. I don't need to try and force people to sit through adverts on my channel, so you won't be seeing that ever. Some people do. I fully understand why, but it won't be happening to my channel. I mean, I think, you know, I advertise enough through the channel in a sense, because I obviously push the car, the Nissan Leaf, and the Chinese radios. So, you know, there's your advert, I suppose. But that's not an intentional thing. That's just for my admiration of the products. You know, those little Chinese radios are just awesome. You know, I mean, it tells you, doesn't it, that I've got an ICOM radio, an ICOM handheld, and it doesn't get used because I'm too scared to mess it up, drop it or whatever, or lose it, and consequently then the performance is no better than the Chinese radios. Okay, it's more featured, but you know, so I end up just using the Chinese radios. The one thing I would say is the Yaesu XT600. That is a lovely radio, and that, I think, just because it's one of my first radios, I don't use it as much, but that really is a lovely radio, and I don't worry about that. I mean, they're only just over £100 new, and you can get them for a lot less second hand on eBay. And they use nickel metal hydride batteries, but don't let that put you off. The battery life on those radios is super duper, and you haven't, you know, they don't self-discharge like the lithium batteries do when they're off the charger. I've used the FT60 when it's not been charged for 6 months, and it's fine, absolutely fine. The other thing, you know, with the solar panels, they've come right down in price now, and to the point where, you know, it's really a no-brainer. I was thinking the other day, I mean, particularly because we charge the electric car with solar when we can. I mean, mostly now this time of year it's 100% of the time, and when it's sunny, it actually feels to me like it's raining, but it's raining money down on top of my house. I know it sounds daft, but you know, we make, you know, about £1,000 a year, pussycat, grit in the road, £1,000 a year off of the panels, and we also get free electricity during the day, and we charge the car with it. So it's actually, to us, I don't know what other people with petrol cars spend on fuel a year. Probably on average, the average spend is a couple of £1,000 a year on fuel. So if you look at it like that, you know, we actually, and also your electricity bill, which is about £1,000 again a year on average for people. So we actually make £4,000. We're actually £4,000 up every year from the fact that we run an electric car as opposed to a brand new petrol car. Let's just get that in, because I know it's cheap to run an old car, and I'm aware of that. But yeah, so we're £4 a year up, and also far less polluting as well. So it really is a nice feeling. That, I mean, I love the motorbike. It is obviously petrol powered, but it's the only piece of transportation that I own that's petrol powered. Everything else, including all my push bikes, are electric, of course, and my lawnmower is petrol powered. But I don't see any sense in swapping that out for an electric one at the moment. But that's not to say that I won't in the future. But it seems crazy to change a perfectly good petrol mower that gets used once a fortnight for a brand new battery powered one. That doesn't seem that earth friendly to me. One thing I need to look at getting is a new helmet. This helmet is about 8 years old now, and you shouldn't keep a helmet for that length of time really without changing it. They're only good for a number of years because of the breakdown in the impact resistance of the plastic that's built into the helmet. So I am on the lookout for a new lid, and I don't care how much it costs. I'm just going to get the lid I want. Somebody mentioned that to me when I was looking before, and I said, well, I was going to spend £400 on a helmet, and they said, £400? You can get a Shark for 80 quid. I said, well, no, last time I checked, I didn't know how much a new head costs. You shouldn't not base your choice of helmet on price. I mean, obviously the people will have a budget, but you should go for one that offers you the best protection possible. Spend as much as you can on the helmet, and obviously comfort and everything else. Oh dear. Applies as well. I want to get one with some kind of built-in Bluetooth audio features, so I can hook the phone up. I don't want to have to plug earpieces in or have things sticking on the outside of the helmet. I've already got the camera on the helmet here, so we don't want to do any more of that. Uneven road round here. So yeah, so if anyone can suggest any helmets, please do leave them in the comments below. I'd love to know what you guys are using. The other thing I don't really know is because my road ahead closed, no through route, no access to Arlington. Well, it might be closed to cars, but it might not be closed to motorbikes. You can have a look. Well, that's not closed for me, is it? No, that's a nice smooth blacktop there. Lovely job. Well, they're never going to get a bypass, this village. They've been asking for years. The other thing I was going to mention was BB King. He passed away sadly last week, and the sort of Twitter firestorm of people mourning his passing was quite funny, because I bet that 95% of the people that were making a comment on it wouldn't have actually known of any of his songs. And it's funny that, isn't it? Twitter, there's like, it seems to be like just sort of a very incestuous thing at times, that everyone very often gets sort of dragged along to say or think or feel the same thing as a group, and I find that really strange. because I wasn't going to make a comment on BB King. I couldn't name any of his songs. I wouldn't have listened to his music. I think the only time that I remember seeing him was on the U2 film Rattle and Hum. But it's funny, isn't it? People like to comment, make a comment. But I do like Twitter. It's a fun place. I spend a lot of time on it. It's a bit addictive. I'm just checking my lens hasn't got a dead fly stuck on it. Now, I did consider getting a 125 for nipping around on, just general guffing around, because this this bike of mine is only going up in value. But the more that I ride it, obviously that's going to affect its value in the future, because I'm looking to keep it for a long time. So I was looking at getting a cheap Chinese bike to ride, a 125. However, I need to go and test ride one first before I spend any money, because I think I'm going to be quite disappointed with the performance. Not that I'm a performance person, but I think the Yamaha, this is a really good quality machine, and I think I'd be a little bit disappointed with the Chinese machines. I mean, I've been looking at the Sinnis Apache 125, which seems quite a popular bike, and you can pick a brand new one up for 1,500 quid. It's just no brainer, you know. It's nothing. So I am toying with the idea of getting one. But and I like the style of them. They're really nice. They're like well, I mean, people will have seen them. They're supermoto machine, aren't they? So I really like that look. But it's another motorbike that I think the missus will just tell me I'm not riding. But we'll see. I mean, all there is going to be there is antennas and sheep. No entry, military personnel. Ensure gate is locked and closed at the end of the day. This is a prohibited place with the Unofficial Secrets Act. Unauthorised persons may be arrested and prosecuted. But you can see in the distance there's some huge antennas. I think they are all still working as well. But this gate used to be open. You used to be able to get in and have a look around. But it's a huge site. It's absolutely massive. You can see the antennas over there in the distance. But I mean, if you was really keen, you could get in. I don't suppose anyone's going to come and arrest you, but I suppose this day and age, with terror being high on the agenda, I think you'd be silly to push it. So anyway, that stopped me being a nosy bugger, hasn't it? I think on the days that you can go in there, but because people are working there. He wasn't into nodding. He wasn't a nodder. Plenty of nodders around. My Nissan Leaf video was filmed down here. The first one I did where we were tanking it along a bit. That was down this road. I think that was the car that we borrowed from the dealer in Banbury. Yeah, we're going quite quickly.